Hey boys, it's HarmNone. In today's highly requested video, we will be ranking the top 10 bridges in GTA Online. This has been so heavily requested by the community after being mentioned briefly in the on-foot cross-map manhunt and a few other videos afterwards. So today, of course, we are going to do it. Now, for bridges to make it onto this list, they have to be iconic, helpful, serve a purpose, look good, and simply outperform other bridges to get a spot on the list. Now just quickly before we get started, consider subscribing if you watch my content already. A lot of you guys watch but never subscribe, and we need to change that. It's free and I make great content just like this every single day. Leave a like if you enjoy, dislike if you don't, and let us begin. Starting off with the Vespucci Boulevard Bridge, the worst of the best. Based on the first street bridge in Los Angeles, California, this bridge seemingly has a lot of character at first glance, but underneath is just another concrete bridge, but painted like it's made of sandstone. It really is kind of like a metaphor for Los Angeles in real life. However, it does serve a pretty good purpose. It is very close to bridge customs, and it does allow you to get there relatively quickly. For this reason, it had to make it onto the list. Next up at number 9, we have one you probably haven't heard of, and this is the Altruist Camp Wooden Bridge, as I've decided to call it. Now, this wooden bridge is one that many of you will probably have never seen, being nestled away just below the peak of one of the smaller mountains in the Chiliad Mountain State Wilderness. This is a simple yet highly effective bridge. It does its own job and stays in its own lane for real, and that's just, what it's doing. Pretty cool bridge. Definitely an underrated one. Definitely one that most of you will not have ever seen in your whole life, but yeah, cool bridge. At number 8, we have the Lighthouse Train Bridge. The Lighthouse Trestle Bridge is a pretty iconic one, I would say, but sadly not that many people have had the pleasure of being around it due to it just kind of being in a dead zone on the map, honestly. This bridge is really cool though, and it definitely has a unique look to it, being one of the only trestle bridges in the entire game. Definitely deserving of being on the list. Definitely a pretty cool one. Next up at number 7, we have the Tunnel Bridge. This is found just on the south side of the tunnel that cuts through the very bottom of Mount Chiliad. We find this beautiful suspension bridge sitting here, and it allows players to get into the tunnel, and for that, it definitely deserves a spot on the list. It's pretty unique looking, it's pretty cool, it looks a little rugged, a little run down maybe, but it definitely functions very well, and that's all you really need out of a bridge. This is truly a great bridge. Next up, we have the Zancudo Bridge, an incredibly wide behemoth of a bridge spanning over the swamp just outside of Fort Zancudo, with the excellent yellow pylons in the center of the bridge that you can hit with a car and send flying. Just for the yellow pylons alone, this bridge takes the 6th spot. It is a pretty nice bridge to drive on though. It is, it's a cool bridge, man. It's a pretty cool bridge. My only real beef with the Zancudo Bridge is that it definitely could have been 4 lanes all the way across, but for some reason it's got these weird merges on it, where it goes from 2 lanes down to 1 or 1 to 2, and it's kind of strange, but still a really awesome bridge, and the yellow pylons definitely make up for some of its shortcomings for sure. Next up at number 5, we have the Elysian Fields Freeway Bridge and Miriam Turner Overpass. Now, this bridge actually consists of 2 different bridges entirely, but connected together over top of Elysian Island. Now, on the eastern side, closer to the Los Santos docks, the Elysian Fields Freeway Bridge towers above the surrounding landscape, while on the western side, closer to LSIA, the Miriam Turner Overpass Bridge towers above any other bridge in the entire game. The traffic on these bridges is completely bugging out at almost all times and can definitely cause some pretty hilarious but also completely infuriating moments. However, if you do want to cut up in traffic in GTA, this is definitely the best place to do it. And these bridges are absolutely awesome. They're so huge you can see them from miles and miles away. Definitely some pretty cool ones. Definitely deserving of being on the list. Next up at number 4, we have the Cassidy Creek Highway Bridge. Now, I didn't know this was called Cassidy Creek either, but doing research for this video, I found that out. So Cassidy Creek is what the river that runs through the canyon is actually called. Pretty cool. Didn't know that. Now, this bridge is absolutely incredible looking, matched with the scenery around it, and I do remember seeing this in some of the original trailers for GTA 5, and I was absolutely blown away by how good it looked. This bridge is absolutely awesome. It's a really cool one to drive on. The scenery's awesome. It looks really cool from below as well. Overall, definitely a great bridge for real. Heading up Cassidy Creek a little bit, we find the Calafia Train Bridge. Didn't know it was called that either. I just called this the Canyon Train Bridge, but that's what it's called. Now, this train bridge is flexing on all the other train bridges in GTA 5 and honestly a lot of the regular bridges as well. It's the highest, longest, and widest train bridge in the game, the whole package in one train bridge, honestly. This one has seen many events created using it, and it has been crossed many times. It's definitely one of the most useful bridges in the game as well, as being, I would say, one of the most iconic bridges in the entire game. It is definitely deserving of being placed pretty highly on this list, that's for sure. Now at number 2, we have an underrated hidden gem. And this is the Richards Majestic Foot Overpass. An absolute beautiful bridge. Perfect in its shape, size, and span, this overpass from the Richards Majestic building is one for the ages. Truly an underrated icon of architecture and design in GTA Online, looking absolutely incredible and being purely functional. This is definitely an awesome bridge, easily beating out the competition and being placed at number 2, no contest. Now for an honorable mention, we have the Fishing Village Bridge. Just beyond the Trestle Train Bridge and the lighthouse, this bridge stands alone, connecting the small fishing community of Cape Catfish to the rest of San Andreas society. This bridge is a true necessity to an entire community, and due to this bridge's nobility and what it does, it deserves an honorable mention placement on the list for sure. And of course at number 1, as I'm sure many of you were expecting, the Zancudo River covered wooden bridge is easily the best bridge in GTA Online, and there is simply nothing else like it elsewhere in this entire game. This bridge has so much character, and it is definitely one of the oldest bridges in the entire game. It looks like it's probably from the 1800s, maybe late 1800s or early 1900s, and it really truly does remind me of a much simpler Oppressor Mark II free time. It truly reminds me of old GTA Online, and for those reasons, this is the best bridge, and there's absolutely no contest. So, there you guys have it. That has been it for my ranking of the top 10 bridges in GTA Online. Let me know what you thought of my list in the comments down below. You can feel free to make sure that you tell me I'm correct and that the covered wooden bridge is easily the best bridge in GTA Online. Comment a 7 as well if you made it to the end of the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, dislike if you didn't, of course, which obviously that also means you're wrong, but you know, whatever. Consider subscribing to my channel if you guys are new, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care. Peace.